again with another banger, man. Another reaction video. Yes, sir, man. Hope you guys are having a blessed day. Staying lit. Staying on top of your grind. Last but not least, getting to that bag, man. Go get that bag. Why you don't go get it? Nobody's going to get it for you, man. Y'all already know the vibes. Y'all already know the vibes. Y'all already know it's good, man. Currently, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Yes, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, man. I got 4 reaction videos dropping for you guys today, man. Let's get into them. Man. I don't want to keep you guys waiting. This one's 20 minutes long. I got a couple long ones today, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I'm excited to get these guys, to present these to you, man. 1,630 subs, bro. We on a grind, man. I think we can get to 2,000 by the end of September. I think we can get to 2,000 subs, man. I'm excited. Most certainly excited, man. Today we got all 50 states in America ranked worst to best, man. You already know what the vibes are. Let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Like everything, man, like everything.
50 states, one video, and only one state can come out on top.
Yes,
will it be yours? Find out as we ruthlessly rank all 50 states from worst to best, based on their economy, safety, cost of living, schools, quality of life, and my opinion. 3, 2, 1, let the games begin. Number 50, Louisiana. Not even all the hurricanes can wash away the worst pollution levels in the country. But you know what they can wash away? Any infrastructure Louisiana does manage to build when it's not being robbed by its own government, as it's by far the most corrupt state. So it shouldn't be a shock that it's also the third most dangerous state, since there's virtually no economic opportunity.
Okay.
Number 49. Mississippi. Don't get cocky, Mississippi.
Right,
the only reason you're not dead last is because you know your worth less is you're the cheapest state. I mean, at least Louisiana has New Orleans, while all you have is 94% of the farm-raised catfish in the U.S. Oh, and also the lowest incomes, highest poverty rate, highest obesity rate, worst healthcare, and lowest life expectancy. Number 48. New Mexico. Despite New Mexico being the most dangerous state and having the worst schooling system and a terrible economy, the median home still costs 260 grand, which is a lot more than the other states that suck this bad. But if you've ever driven through Taos or Georgia O'Keeffe country, I'm sure you can see why. Number 47, Arkansas. For being called the land of opportunity, Arkansas sure doesn't have much of it, with the third lowest income, second worst healthcare, fifth highest poverty rate, and fourth highest crime rate. But considering many Arkansans take imitating the calls of waterfowl more seriously than improving the quality of life, I'm not surprised. And yeah, the World Championship duck calling contest takes place in Stuttgart, and the duck callers go hard. Number 46, Alabama. The most exciting thing to do in Alabama is read its 389,000 word constitution, which is more than 85 times the length of the US Constitution. Well, unless you live in Huntsville, which hopefully you do, because living anywhere else in the state means you're probably in poverty, surrounded by crime, and gonna die before you turn 75. Number 45. Kentucky. Sure, Kentucky may have the fourth highest poverty rate and third worst economic outlook of any state, but hey, at least there are 2 barrels of bourbon for every Kentuckian, and $150 million is wagered on the Kentucky Derby each year. Priorities.
Shout out Louisville.
Am I right? Number 44, West Virginia. After being decimated for decades by the failing coal industry, things may be looking up for West Virginia. Sure, it still has the 4th worst healthcare, 5th worst schools, 3rd worst economy, the worst infrastructure, and 2nd lowest median household income at just $48,800. But those are huge improvements from where the state was just 5 years ago. Not to mention, it's the 2nd cheapest state, and the scenery is stunning.
The 2nd cheapest
Number 43, Tennessee. Loved by bachelorettes, nature enthusiasts, and country music fans alike, Tennessee sure is fun to visit. But not everything is sweet like Tennessee whiskey, as the healthcare and education systems are abysmal, the cost of living is skyrocketing, and it has the 3rd highest violent crime rate. In fact, Memphis just passed St. Louis for the title of most dangerous city in America. And while the economy, particularly in Nashville, is growing fast, wages are still nearly 10 grand below the national average. Number 42, Oklahoma. What can I say? Okay is okay. I guess. I mean, the healthcare, schools, crime, and poverty are all bad, but at least the infrastructure and economy are decent, and it's dirt cheap.
So is this
Although,
alright?
with most of the state looking like this, it's not exactly prime real estate. Number 41, South Carolina. South Carolina was
South
the second most
Carolina.
moved to state in 2020, but it shouldn't let that get to its head because it's still the fifth most dangerous state. And while Charleston's a cool historic city with a
fifth most
thriving
dangerous,
economy,
South
it's also
Carolina.
gotten pretty expensive, and the rest of the state is really struggling. So those were the 10 worst states, but before we get to the other
I mean, I
40,
ain't gonna
make sure you
lie.
leave a like and subscribe. And we're also going to give an honorable mention to Washington,
Washington,
D.C.,
D.C.
because if it were a state, it'd be right here on the list. Sure, it'd have by far the highest incomes, but it'd also be by far the most dangerous state and 8 times more politically
wrong.
corrupt than Louisiana.
He's not
But
wrong.
it's not a state, well, yet. So here's real number 40. Number 40. Missouri. Okay, so Missouri is home to 4 of the
Missouri.
10 most dangerous U.S.
Number
cities,
40.
including St. Louis,
St.
the
Louis
murder
is
capital
crazy.
of America. But
St.
outside of
Louis
the
is
crime,
crazy.
which is centralized to a few bad areas, Missouri is pretty underrated. The schools, infrastructure, and economy are all above average, and there are so many free attractions.
Okay.
Number 39, Nevada. COVID decimated
what
Nevada's
cause,
largely
though?
tourism-based economy, and tourism still hasn't returned to those pre-pandemic numbers. The unemployment rate is the highest in the nation, and while the economy is growing fast and starting to diversify, all the Californians moving in are also driving up the cost of living. Number 38. Arizona. Good luck enjoying
That makes
Arizona's
sense.
300 sunny days a year or 22 beautiful national parks and monuments, because heat stroke will have you melting
Yeah,
faster than an
Arizona's all
ice cube in
desert.
boiling water, and allergies and pollution will have you sneezing yourself right back inside of your beige cookie cutter Arizona home. Oh wait, isn't that one your neighbor's house? Oh no, they just look the same.
Nah. you
Number
funny as hell.
37. Pennsylvania. The Rust
37,
Belt state that once played a
Pennsylvania.
vital role in building cars now destroys them with some of the worst potholes
Yeah,
and
that's
infrastructure.
crazy.
But hey, while it's not safe for vehicles, at least Pennsylvania is one of the safest states. Although
one of the
maybe
safest
not
states.
for your bank account, since the economy's been struggling for years and meth and opioid addiction is rampant.
Reminds you, this video
Number
was a year
36,
ago, bro.
Michigan. Outside of Detroit,
36,
Flint,
Michigan.
and Lansing, Michigan isn't terrible. There's gorgeous
Flint,
forests and
Michigan.
shoreline on 4 Great Lakes. The Upper Peninsula is magical, and it's home to some of the cutest small towns in the nation. Plus, it's really
Okay.
affordable. Number 35. Ohio. 60 years ago,
Ohio,
Ohio,
number
Michigan, and
35.
Pennsylvania were some of the best states to live in. But I guess that just shows the dark side of the American dream.
has to.
Ohio has lost hundreds of thousands of good paying jobs over the
America really
past
be some
30
people's
years,
dreams. I'm
which
not
has
even gonna
resulted
lie
in
with
places
you,
like
bro.
Cleveland
It's
and
where we live,
Dayton
so we gotta
seeing
protect it,
poverty
no lie.
rates over 30%.
we live, we
But
gotta
at least
protect
real
it at all
estate's
costs.
cheap, and Columbus's economy is thriving. Number 34. Alaska. Statistically,
34,
Alaska
Alaska.
should be in the bottom 10. It has the highest violent crime rate, second worst public schools, gets frigid cold, and the cost of living is through the roof. But the last frontier makes up for it with stunning views, great wages,
Nah,
and the
no,
fact
it
that you
doesn't.
get paid to live here.
That's
Not to
crazy.
mention, more Alaskans claim their state to be the best than any other state's residents, so that's gotta count for something, right? Number 33. Montana.
I'm not gonna lie.
While Alaska may be the most
you really
beautiful
live somewhere,
state,
bro, you're gonna
Montana
say that's
isn't
the
far
best.
behind. And
I'm
its
not gonna lie.
infrastructure is a heck of a lot better. The Big Sky State
always
is still
hear-
pretty expensive,
I
however.
always hear people that live in their states don't even like their state. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, they be like, I can't wait till I move out of this state. I don't know what that's for, but that's crazy.
Many rich West Coasters buy second homes here. So even though the economy is the
Nebraska?
7th fastest growing, wages aren't even close to keeping up with the cost of living. Number 32. Indiana. If you're a yodeler, Indiana is
Yodeling.
not the place for you. It's flat, boring, and the pollution is so bad that you wouldn't even be able to get a yodel in before the atmosphere yodeled you into a fit of coughs. Now, if you're not a yodeler, there are worse
Nah,
places
he's
to
funny
live,
as hell,
but
man.
there are also 31 better places to live. Number 31. Illinois. More Illinoisans claim their state to be the worst than any other state's residents, and it shows, as they had the third highest rate of outbound migration in 2020. But across the board, the Prairie State is pretty average, and Chicago is one of the most affordable big cities. Number 30,
crazy, though.
Texas. Texas is on track to be the largest state by population in 2050, and
Texas
for good
is about to be
reason.
a
The
big-ass
cities are
state,
mostly
no doubt.
affordable, have tons of amenities,
that
and their
is one of the biggest
economies
states.
are booming. But the rural parts of the state have practically no economic opportunity. Not to mention
Why
the
so, though?
healthcare, safety, education, and air and water quality are all well below average too. Number 29, California. Traffic, homelessness, and the high cost of living are just some
Shout out
of
to
the
Texas,
many
man. They got
reasons
some of the
people
best
are
people
leaving
coming out of there.
California.
Some of the
But
best
the
artists.
perfect weather, incredible economy, and breathtaking scenery are also just some of the many reasons people are staying. Or maybe they're just trying to get famous. In which case, I hate to break it to you, Ashley with an I, but
said
it's probably
Cali?
not going to happen. Number 28.
Number
Delaware.
28, Delaware.
Delaware might be the most forgettable state. Sure, there's nice beaches, but they're cold in the winter
He said-
and overcrowded
Nah,
in the
that's
summer.
funny.
And the rest of the state
That's
is
funny,
more
I ain't gonna
boring
lie,
than
that's
Elon
crazy.
Musk's subterranean business ambitions. Number 27, South Dakota. You
South
probably
Dakota.
wouldn't expect a place in the middle of nowhere to be as economically diverse and self-dependent
do
as
they
South
split
Dakota.
them, though?
But with Sioux Falls' thriving
It's a
economy,
South and
no
North
state
Dakota.
income tax,
Or
great
South and
infrastructure, and
West, or
excellent
whatever the fuck they split them
affordability,
into.
the Mount Rushmore state is the second most fiscally stable. Plus, the Black
Mount
Hills and
Rushmore.
Badlands are simply magical. Number 26, Oregon. I lived here for a bit, and
Oregon,
trust
man.
me, from the coastline to Crater Lake to Mount
Oregon,
Hood,
man.
Oregon is stunning. And the economy and infrastructure
But they have some
are
of the best
exceptional.
places that
The
you can
terrible
go to watch,
education, pollution, property crime, and high cost of living do put a damper on things, though. As does the constant drizzle and gray skies if you live near Portland. Speaking of which, no, it is not just an Antifa overrun hellhole. It's got problems, but the media really overplays them.
Okay.
Number 25. Kansas. Kansas is smack dab in the middle of the country and smack dab in the
25.
middle of our list.
Man, it's
It's pretty
middle of
much
the
the
list. That
most
is crazy,
average
I ain't
state.
gonna lie.
The end.
Average.
Number 24. North Dakota. I might have spoken too soon about Kansas because North Dakota is even more uneventful. It's just as flat and boring, and on top of that, it gets really cold, which I guess at least keeps the cost of living low because no one wants to live here. Well,
So you
except for
got
oil
Delaware,
people
North-
because there's
North
tons of
Dakota
it
got
and
ass.
oil pays well. Number 23. Georgia. Does Georgia
Georgia,
have
number
exceptional
23.
infrastructure, great affordability, and a fast-growing economy? Yeah, but not everything is peach in the peach state
Yeah.
because the healthcare, education, and crime rates could use some serious improvements. But hey, at least the Braves just won the World Series.
Sir.
Number 22. Rhode Island. Rhode Island may
Island,
be
number
the
22.
smallest state by total area, but
It
it's
is
not about the
small,
size.
it's
It's about the motion of the air quality.
You fucking for
Yeah,
real, my
the
boy.
air quality is great. And it's also the 8th
for real, my
safest
boy.
state with the 4th best healthcare and an above average economy. Sure, it's probably the worst state in New England, but considering how great most New England states are, that's really not that bad.
That's tough.
Number 21. Wyoming. While Wyoming
Number
is over
21,
80
Wyoming.
times the size of
Wyoming,
Rhode
I said
Island,
Wyoming.
Rhode Island has
Wyoming.
nearly twice as many people. Well, that is if anyone even lives here at all. I mean, does Wyoming really exist? There's no real
Yeah, I
cities, and
never
it's
even
over
heard of,
100
like,
miles
people
between
like,
many
I
of the
said
closest
Wyoming.
towns.
I
But
never
if
heard
it
of that
does
before.
exist, it's the most tax-friendly state, and the great schools, low crime, beautiful nature, and affordable cost of living make it a pretty decent place to live.
That's fair.
Allegedly.
That's fair.
Number 20. New York. Wait,
Number 20,
New
New
York
York.
sucks! How the heck is it in the top 20? Well, haters gonna hate,
York
but
is
despite
tough, I
its
ain't gonna lie.
flaws, there's no place like it. The city is a
fact.
melting pot of everything, and upstate is affordable and gorgeous. Number 19. New Jersey.
Number
New York's
19,
less
New
interesting,
Jersey.
slightly richer,
where I
but
come from,
mostly
man.
suburban
Jersey.
neighbor would probably seem a lot cooler if it weren't so close to the big city. Sure, the infrastructure sucks and taxes are high, but New Jersey also has the 3rd highest wages, 4th lowest poverty rate, 4th best healthcare, 2nd best schools, and 5th lowest crime rate.
That's Atlantic
Number
City.
18. Wisconsin.
They just drove to Atlantic
Wisconsin
City.
may be
Cheers,
cold, but that
powers.
doesn't stop the residents of America's Dairyland from eating
Wisconsin.
more ice cream than any other state. I mean, dairy and beer is the way of life here. And speaking of beer,
Come on,
it's
mama.
kind of a problem with 7 of
Come on,
America's
mama.
10 drunkest cities being in the state.
Okay, that's
But
fair,
that
that's
and the
fair,
fact
that's
that it
fair,
looks
that's
like
fair.
this for half the year are pretty much the only cons about the place. Number 17. Florida.
Number
Burn!
17,
Most
Florida.
Wisconsinites probably wish they were in Florida this time of year. But great weather and beautiful beaches
where I'm
aren't
at now,
the
man.
only
Florida's
reason
lit, I ain't
people are
gonna lie.
moving here in droves. Florida's affordable, the schools are great, the economy is the 9th fastest growing, and
Florida's
the
lit,
quality
I ain't
of
gonna lie.
life is tropically self-explanatory. Number 16. Iowa. Not to
Iowa.
sound corny, but if you need a fresh start, Iowa is the place to go. Wages are good, crime is low, and it's soy cheap here that it actually ranked 5th on our cheapest states to live in for 2021 video.
Hey?
Number 15, Connecticut. Well, Iowa's a
Connecticut.
great place to save money. Connecticut is a great place to make
see
money,
top 10.
with the nation's 6th highest median household income at 79 grand. It's also got the 3rd best public schools, 3rd best healthcare,
Which
and
ones did
3rd
they-
lowest
didn't say
violent
yet?
crime rate. But there is a huge division of wealth between the affluent suburbs and impoverished cities. Number 14, North Carolina.
North
Carolina's
Carolina,
economy
okay.
is skyrocketing in cities like Raleigh and Charlotte, but the rural parts are really lagging behind, which holds the whole state back with an overall poverty rate of 13.6%.
That's not
At least the
bad
people,
compared to a lot of
education
places,
system, and
though, for
outdoor
real.
activities are outstanding, though.
Poverty rate is crazy.
Number 13, Maine. The rocky cliffs lining the
Number
coast
13,
and dense
Maine.
forests hugging the mountains and lakes easily make the land of lobsters the most beautiful state east of the Mississippi. And Maine's also by far the safest state, which makes
Okay.
sense since it's practically in Canada where everyone
That
is
is a fact.
suspiciously nice. Number 12. Maryland. Maryland is home to the highest wages in the
Number
nation
12,
with a median
Maryland.
household income of $86,750, which has resulted in the 5th lowest poverty rate of just 9.1%. But that doesn't tell the whole story, because while the DC and Baltimore suburbs are thriving, the rest of the state isn't in the best shape.
Not even.
Number 11. Virginia. The other state bordering DC might not have as high incomes as Maryland, but it's also a lot cheaper and safer with the 6th lowest violent crime rate. Not to mention, Virginia's got incredible schools, healthcare, opportunity, history, and nature. I honestly don't know how it's
Hey,
still a virgin,
West
because
Virginia,
it goes
Virginia
hard.
is lit.
Number 10. Nebraska. Yes,
Number
it's
10,
boring, but
Nebraska, top
stats
10.
don't lie, and neither does the lowest unemployment rate in the nation. And with a booming economy, excellent
Nebraska
affordability,
sounds lit,
and
I ain't
great
gonna lie.
schools, Nebraska really is the good life. Number 9. Hawaii. A gallon of milk may cost $5, and home values
Number
are
9.
by far the most expensive of any state. But can you really put a price on paradise? Well, considering Hawaii
Nah,
is home to
Hawaii's
the
probably
best
lit, I ain't gonna lie.
healthcare system, healthiest residents, 4th highest wages, lowest stress levels, best air and water
trying to
quality,
go to
and
Hawaii, I'm not
highest
gonna lie.
life expectancy, I'd say that's
They
priceless.
said the highest life expectancy.
Number
I
8,
wonder why.
Idaho. There are many reasons Idaho has been the fastest growing
number
state
9,
for
I mean,
4
number 8.
years running. Boise's one of the best cities in the country. It's the 3rd safest state, and there are over 50 million acres of gorgeous, untouched nature. Number 7, Vermont.
Untouched
Once
nature.
people move here, they don't leave. I promise that's not as ominous as it sounds. Basically, Vermont has such a high quality of life that no one wants to leave. There's great people,
Vermont is
beautiful
lit,
scenery,
okay.
incredible infrastructure, no pollution, and it's the 4th safest
Vermont
state
has
with
no
the 5th
pollution.
best schools.
Have you even
Number
heard of
6,
that?
Colorado.
I never
The
even heard of that.
58 14,000 foot mountains aren't the only thing that's high in Colorado, because the cost of living keeps going up. Now, thankfully, so do the incomes, as Colorado also has the
Damn.
2nd best economy. Number 5, Minnesota. If you don't mind negative 40 in the winter, I don't know why you haven't moved to Minnesota yet. Because besides the
Let's go
weather,
to
everything
Minnesota.
else here is hot. With the 3rd best economic opportunity, 3rd
Okay.
highest life expectancy, 3rd lowest poverty rate, and wonderful healthcare and infrastructure.
Gotta go.
Plus,
I gotta
you get
go
to
visit
say,
Minnesota,
oh,
too.
Number 4,
I gotta go visit
Washington.
Minnesota.
Sure, the mist gets so thick that you can hardly see Seattle, but you probably won't be spending much time outside
Yo, here's
anyway,
the
since
jokester,
everyone here's a
bro.
workaholic. I mean, you kind of have to be to afford the rent. The economy continues to be one of the best with no signs of slowing down, however, and the scenery is jaw-dropping. Now, before we get to the final 3, if you want us to update this list every year, let's hit 5,000 likes. Number 3. Massachusetts.
I don't even know how many likes they got,
Massachusetts
but that's
is by far the most
probably do got
educated
5,000.
state, and it makes sense since it's also home to the best public schools and many of the highest paying jobs. Not to mention, it's got the
Massachusetts.
lowest property crime rate, second best healthcare, and so much history.
Number
2. Utah.
Utah.
Utah? Yep, Utah totally heard me right. Not only is there breathtaking nature everywhere, Utah's also in the top 5 in pretty much every
That shit was
statistic that
crazy.
matters, including the number 1 economy and second lowest unemployment and poverty rates. No wonder Utonians are
Shout
the
out Utah,
happiest
man.
residents
Shout out
in the
Utah.
country. Number 1, New Hampshire. New Hampshire
Number
is
1,
nearly
New
perfect
Hampshire.
in every category, from being the second safest state to having by far the lowest poverty rate and
Number
best
1
economic
is New
opportunity.
Hampshire.
Plus, the natural beauty is magical. It sure was a real battle.
That's tough. I ain't gonna lie. Damn, they got 127K likes. That's tough, man. Y'all let me know how you like that reaction video, man. Like, comment, subscribe. As always, I'm gonna see you guys in the next one, man. Like I said, these videos are gonna be dropping later in the day. Expect these to be dropping from 7 to 10 p.m., man. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. As always, Uni out, man. Be safe.